Hello, everybody. Mish here from Twisted by Mish.
And hi, it's Lesley, the Metaphysical Cronen from Innerji. And here we are at another Sabbath. Can you believe it?
It's just gone so fast, so fast. So here we are preparing for Mabon, the autumn equinox.
And that's the time of equal day and equal night. So it's really a big time for rebalancing, isn't it? And finding your balance. What do you think?
Yeah, it really is. And I find, for me personally, there's a lot of, as well as finding that balance, there's a lot of time reflecting over the things that have worked over the past year and what to get rid of, as well as a physical declutter as well.
Yes. And you've just done a physical declutter in readiness.
Yep, I have a little bit, so much more to go.
And I wanted to ask you, you were saying something, and I don't think I heard it properly when we were talking earlier today about this being the end of the wheel of the year.
It's the end, yeah. So Mabon is the last Sabbath of the year, and with Samhain being the first. So a lot of people find that they're really sort of wrapping up the year to start again in Samhain.
Yeah, in the Samhain period. Yeah, because it is in pagan terms, it is by some people who follow pagan outlooks the traditional New Year.
Yes,
as opposed to the 1st of January, which is the secular New Year by the calendar. So I guess what this brings up for me is, you know what? Whatever New Year time frame is for you, then do it. Like my birthday is my New Year time for me personally. Samhain is my New Year time spiritually. And then January is my New Year time in terms of the external world and family and stuff like that. So I get a lot of celebrating to do.
And I think it's important to have that feeling of starting again, you know, of letting the past go and starting again. Like I tend to do that at each Sabbath. You know, each one has a different aspect that I focus on, but yeah, it's that progression. So there's many, and of course you can always start again tomorrow.
And that's it. It's cycles upon cycles upon cycles. We have the sun cycle of the sun, you know, the earth orbiting the sun over 364 point however many days. We have the cycle of the moon going around the earth every 29 point something days. So it's all about cycles. And so you can choose which cycle you want to use as your ending cycle and your beginning cycle based on what your outlook is. It's really, it's really interesting, isn't it?
It is.
And there's some interesting sort of mythology around it, you know, with this balancing of light and dark, and autumn in particular here in the Southern Hemisphere, we are coming into the darker season leading up towards winter, the time of hibernation. And so for me, autumn is not just about looking at, you know, the happy goddesses, shall we say. It's about looking at the dark, the shadow side. I personally follow a Scottish crone called the Cailleach. Being Scottish, that's very personal to me, and being in my crone years as well. And so I also look at that energy, that shadow of what am I letting go? What am I hanging on to that isn't working for me? And moving into these mature years, what does my life experience bring that I want to keep moving forward with? And what are my life experiences that I haven't maybe let go of that I should have? So like you, I find it a strong time of reflection.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember the things that you do want to keep, to celebrate those as well.
Absolutely. It's not like, you know, throw the baby out with the bathwater kind of approach.
There's always something, like if you think of it as a physical aspect where, you know, this is our second harvest and we're hanging on to we're, you know, preparing our foods and herbs and things, you know, preserving, drying, to bring into the winter. You know, there's that aspect of yourself as well, the things that are flourishing now that you want to continue to bring into the next season for yourself as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, I know we live in a modern society where it's easy to duck down to the supermarket and get imported you know, fruit that isn't in season now. But I feel that the energy of the equinoxes, in fact, all the Sabbats, is about what is it that's natural to the season of the place where you live, not just what's available to you.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Mish and I are going to be doing separately, and then we'll put up our videos sharing it, is we're actually going to go out and look around our local area and do some foraging of some items that represent the autumn and the equinox and Mabon for us to put on our altars. And, you know, you don't need to go to a shop and buy fancy gear. You can find a beautiful colored leaf, a stone. But we always say that, you know, when you remove something from the earth, give something in exchange. And, you know, take one stone, don't take 24, because we only take what we need. So that's one of the things we'll be doing in a future video.
Yeah, and it's always nice to once you've finished, to return it, you know, return it back to the earth. I always do a little something for the area if I take things to use in my craft, I guess. And I'll make sure that if there's any rubbish in the area, I will pick that up.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll take some tourmaline chips and do a little boundary, you know, a little protection of the area, just something to give back, something in return.
And honoring that spirit of place, I think, is important as well. So we've given you a little heads up on one of the videos we're going to be doing. But the other thing about Mabon is, you know, the type of feasting. I mean, what sort of fruits are we still having available to us that are natural to this season? So that would be what, berries?
Yeah, blackberries are in abundance at the moment here.
Yum.
And apples. I can't remember the exact type of apple, but yeah, apples are in abundance.
I've got a thing for blueberries at the moment with this season.
A lot of green leaves as well, green leafy, sort of the Asian greens are very in abundant at the moment, because sort of coming to an end as well. So yeah.
And as with all the harvests, you know, doing some form of preserving, because I mean, here in Australia, we kind of get winter in some parts of Australia. Other parts of Australia, it feels like summer all year round. But it's the energy and the essence of what Mabon is about, as well as what we're experiencing in terms of climate and warmth. But it doesn't mean we can't get ready for that energy of the hibernation approach of winter by preparing now, because it is also a time of preparation for winter. You know, the end of daylight saving is a huge marker that we're moving away from summer, coming into autumn, and then moving towards the shorter days of winter.
Yeah, that's it.
What else did we want to share today? I'm just trying to think. Oh, I know what it was. We're going to talk about some colors for autumn and some crystals for autumn. So what are the colors that you're drawn to for autumn?
So colors to me is still the green, but with the greens, you know, they're fading, like our image behind us here. You know, you've got that transition into the oranges and the reds and the golds and the browns. It's sort of really, I guess when I lived in Canberra, autumn was really obvious this time of year. There was so many deciduous trees that you'd really notice it straight away, the change of season. Now down here at the moment, it's still very hot. It still very much feels like summer, although we're getting those the cooler breezes and the breezes coming through, but it still looks very green and very lush and very summery. But if you can find yourself a little deciduous tree, you notice that there are
changes are happening.
Definitely happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know,
and the changes in the climate at the moment are all over the place. I think we're still in a La Nina, so that means that, you know, we've got a different climate as per what would be considered normal, moving from summer into autumn as well. So some of the crystals, now I'm actually wearing a couple of crystals that I equate with autumn and with Mabon, and one, oops, I just broke it. That's good of me to do that. I have to restring it now. But one I have is amber. There we go, that's better. So we've got amber, and amber is actually a tree resin. And the reason that I like amber for autumn is because it's from the earth, but it's a resin. It's part of a tree, and trees in autumn for me are the big thing. That's what I'm really drawn to. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. And then there's citrine's always a sun, you know, a sun and transition type stone to me. Tiger's eye as well. But another one is moss agate. It's probably a little less common, but moss agate, because it's about that real connection to the earth.
Yeah. When I think of the crystal moss agate, and when I see it, I think of like the peat that you see on the ground in, like, you know, deep dark forests. That's the real appeal that I have. And I kind of, when I sort of look at moss agate or hold it, it kind of takes me into a deep dark forest, and it's great for meditation actually from that perspective.
Nice.
All right, so what we might do now is do an intentions reading for Mabon. Now, we actually haven't told you the date yet. It's actually on the traditional date here in the Southern Hemisphere anyway, of the 21st of March. So the astronomical time and the traditional date marry up. So 21st of March here in the Southern Hemisphere. So why don't we turn the camera around and see what intentions we can set for Mabon, the autumn equinox.
Sounds good.
So, Mish, we've got the table all set up. What will our question be, do you think?
I think today, being that Mabon is about reflection and preparing and letting go, I think it would be a good thing to say, where should we direct our focus regarding what changes we need to make?
I like it. I like it, because then it can be what we can bring in and what we can release.
Yeah, what we need to save as well as what needs to go.
All right.
But yeah, so where should we focus our energies for around what needs to change? I'm also going to pop one of the witch's runes on each one. Just put them out and then I'll turn them.
This is the moment I like before you actually turn the cards, because there's this sense of anticipation. What does the universe have to say to us?
We've got the answers card with the harvest. So when we look at what we've been harvesting for ourselves, for our own selves, I feel like what it is that we need to change, those answers come in what we have already, what is already blatantly obvious, what we already know. And because the harvest, you know, being the second harvest, it's interesting that it's come out, the harvest rune. But for me personally, the harvest rune means the things that we do, the things that we learn, our lessons along the way, that give us the ultimate blessings. You know, it's the work that we do ourselves to get the ultimate rewards. So I think the energies, the place we need to send our focus on is what we already know. And we've got the animals with the wolf there, and it looks like a dove flying, and waves. So the waves is about motion. The waves rune is about motion and things. So things are in motion. There's that cycle, and you've got the animals as well. You know, it's you standing there, and I feel like it's a real look at to what is loyal to you. So who is loyal to you? There's things that obviously you want to keep, and that's the loyal ones. You know, the people who are loyal to you. I think a lot of us hang on to people that aren't necessarily for our highest good, that cause us anguish because they should be there, or And I think this is a real look into, you know, who gives you peace, who really is loyal to you and helps you, and think about who you need to maybe spend less time with, or even perhaps cut off. And I think with the waves rune there, this that's coming up is already in motion. It's already happening. Career with the sun. So the sun is about new beginnings and making healthy choices for yourself. And I think with the career, and we've got the tree there, and there's a ladder against the tree, you know, like keep climbing, keep going. You can always reset and refresh and start again. So for me, all of these together, it's about really harnessing your focus on what you already know, where you already need to know to improve yourself, and to improve your space as well. Keeping those who are loyal to you close, maybe even confiding in them for what, you know, their opinions are, confiding in them. If they're loyal to you, you trust them, you know, you trust their opinion. So maybe look to others, to the loyal ones, and let the ones that are not loyal go. And just keep that. I get a real feeling of circles and friends, and you know, your circles change. They do change. We're not always for everybody, and we're not always for everybody at that time. So sometimes people come into your life and it's for who you are at that time. And as you grow and change, and as they grow and change, then so does your friendship and your connections to each other. So look into those circles, and then looking towards career. I think there's a fresh start. Look at things from a fresh point of view, doing what is good for you, what feels good. Making those choices will help you climb that ladder and feel that warmth of the sun, I want to say. Yeah,
that's lovely, and really appropriate for the energy of Mabon and autumn, you know, that releasing. And I think too, you know, that particular point you made about loyal friends, really honoring who they are. Sometimes we focus on the people that are not working for us and focusing on the negative, but focusing on those people that are there for us, and also we are there for them as well. I love that.
Definitely.
I really think that's a fabulous message for this season. Okay, let's see what I've got shuffling away here. The deck I'm using today is the Tarot Grand Luxe by Ciro Marchetti. I love his artwork. So let's see what we have in regard to focus and changes for the Mabon season, autumn equinox. So the first card I have is Three of Cups reversed. So this is saying to me that whilst Mabon and all the Sabbats are a celebration of sorts, this one is a little bit more somber in the sense of that we are looking at the shadow side, not just looking at the sun side or the light side. So this is saying to me that, you know, putting your focus equally on both is really important. Now, cups represent our emotions, our relationships, also our intuition and psychic connections. And this is saying to me that for Mabon, it's really about getting more earthy and more grounded when it comes to your psychic abilities, when it comes to using your intuition. It's more about connecting with Mother Earth rather than when this card is upright, that we're kind of up in the sky, up in the ether. So I feel that a grounded approach in terms of creating a focus is going to be really important for you. So I'm just going to turn over this card, and I've got the Eight of Swords. And so the focus is going inward. You can see that she has a blindfold on, and swords represent our thoughts, our plans, our communication. And so I'm feeling like, what is it that you need to communicate within yourself without looking at what's going on outside of you, going deeper within you, going to the heart, She's actually bound here, but look, the light that she's holding in her hands there. So this is going deep within into your own light and shadow, focusing on that, focusing on what you need. And it's interesting that it's come out under Mish's card for animals, where she spoke about loyalty and getting opinions from friends. And I see that it is about getting those opinions, but then taking them into yourself and really feeling them and analyzing them to see how it fits specifically for you. The third card we have is the Knight of Swords. Now, knights are all about movement, the quest, the purpose. So when we look at the focus for Mabon and the intention and the changes that we want to make, it's about actually making some plans around what it is you are going to release and what is going to stay with you moving forward. And this is done in an action way. That's the main thing I wanted to say about that. The other thing is I'm really drawn to the wings on his helmet. And this is saying that, you know, also don't get too caught up in your head. Remember, your heart is there as well in that second card. Let your heart shine through so that the heart and mind come into balance when you decide what your focus is, what you want to release, what you want to keep, and what you want to bring in moving forward. Let's add some tea coins. So the tea coins over the Three of Cups is the hourglass. And this is saying to me that this is time to look deeper within yourself. It is time to look at maybe what's not working for you on a very personal level and on an emotional level, and use that as your way forward. A tea coin that will go with the Eight of Swords is the Mountain. And, you know, initially you might feel that you're getting a lot of blocks. It's like, I don't know what I need to release. I don't know what I want. I'm confused. I can't see. And that's where, with this card, you move from your head into your heart and feel. Go with your feelings, go with your intuition, and that will remove that mental mind block. And the final tea coin is the treasure chest. Well, let me make sure I've got it in camera for you. There you go. And so this is saying to me that once you make your decision on what you want to do, what you want to release, overcome any emotional blocks or mental blocks that you have around it, and trust your intuition, and then start making plans and communicating and moving forward, then the treasure is there for you, and you will see your way forward during Mabon, the autumn equinox. I feel like they kind of marry up, our readings, as they always do when we do readings together. Anything else you'd like to add, Mish?
No, I think that's good. I love that at the end there is that little bit of treasure.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, I think we can all get caught up in our heads, can't we, and overthink things. And I really love your message of feeling.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I get caught up in my head a lot. Guilty. I have to keep reminding myself. That's why I'm glad that, you know, we do readings and stuff, because it brings you into that other wisdom, not just your left brain logical wisdom. So did you want to do another oracle card as a summation for our reading today?
Yes. I'm going to choose one from the messages of the guides today. So just a little final note. There we go. I'll display it on top. Kindness counts. How perfect. Be kind to yourself as you're working out what you need to change within yourself. Okay, don't be too harsh on yourself. We are all our worst critics.
Oh yeah.
You know, we are always hard on ourselves. So remember that kindness counts.
And also, if we are releasing, because you mentioned about letting go of people who, you know, are not for the highest good, and usually that means you're not for their highest good either. But you can release those people with kindness as well. It doesn't have to be a harsh cutting off or an angry cutting off. It can be done with compassion and kindness. So I love that as the end card. So the card deck I'm using is the Wild Woman Oracle deck. I've only had this a short time and I'm loving it. And the colors are very autumny. And I'm going to bring this up because it's a little bit hard to see. So we've got The goddess is Vasilisa the wise, and it's all about intuition. Now, what I like about this card is we're talking about, you know, the shadow side, the letting go. And here she is out in the forest. And even though she's not wearing the antlers, the branch from the tree behind looks like she's wearing her antlers. And that to me represents her inner wisdom and connection to the earth. But she's also holding a staff that has a skull. And this is about me. This is about, for me, looking at the ancestors as well, that the shadow side is kind of looking at losses as well as gains. And so I feel that for this Mabon period, it's about using your intuition, treating yourself with kindness, not getting too caught up in your head or the needs of others. And please understand that doesn't mean you're being selfish. This is a time for going inward, going into the self, and that's perfectly fine to do. I think that's been a great sum up to the reading today.
I love those cards, Lesley.
They're gorgeous, aren't they? And I usually, you know me, I usually go like for the bright colors, but there was just something about these that really drew me. And we've got the lone wolf in there as well. So solitude, some solitude. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our Mabon reading and some information about Mabon. We wish you many Mabon blessings, that you have many fruits to preserve, many blessings coming your way. And Mish, what would you like to say to finish up?
Bountiful blessings, everybody. And stay true to yourselves.
And watch out for some more videos coming up soon.
Yes, there will be more. Thank you.